In this video, we're going to show you how to install pads and rotors on your Subaru Legacy located behind your rear wheels. Using a thin wall 19mm socket, we're going to go ahead and loosen and remove our lug nuts here. Our particular vehicle has a locking key on it, so we're going to go ahead and remove this. Go ahead and grab that wheel, remove it, and set it aside. With the back wheel removed, we want to remove our caliper here. It's held in place by these two bolts, one here, one here. These are 14mm. Now I'm going to go ahead and use a gear wrench on this here. I'm going to remove that bolt, set it aside. We'll be reusing that. And same on the top. I'm going to use a pry bar, small pry bar. You can use a screwdriver if you want. I'm going to go between the caliper and the bracket and just gently work this out. You should be able to wiggle this out. I'm going to take this here, I'm going to swing it up and set it up on top. Let's remove our brake pads. There's an inboard and an outboard pad. If you notice on the inboard pad, on the lower portion, there's a squeak tab on the bottom. Remove the outer. No squeak tab. Now there's a bolt right here, and there's one on the top here. These are 14mm. Now we need to access them through the knuckle itself. Now in the lower portion, there's going to be a hole down below. We're going to use our socket with an extension to go through onto this bolt. Got to remove that bolt. I'm going to bring our caliper down, let that rest down here. I'm going to access that other bolt up top. Gonna remove that bolt. I'm going to take our caliper, swing that back up and out of the way, and then remove our caliper bracket. Now I want to remove our brake rotor, but ours is kind of stuck to our wheel hub. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and throw on one of our lug nuts. Just throw it on a few threads. We're going to spray the face of this here with some rust penetrant. Let that soak in for a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and use our mallet, and we're going to hit the rotor, separating that from our wheel hub. Go ahead and remove the lug nut. Grab your brake rotor and slide it off. Before installing your brake rotor, you want to go ahead and make sure that the hub surface is clean and flat. If it is not and you have scaly rust on here and you install that brake rotor and it wobbles, it's going to create a brake pulsation right from the get-go once you start driving the vehicle. So this is a key factor here. Go ahead and use a bristle brush, clean off that hub face. Periodically spray it down with some brake solvent to clean up anything, and then keep on running your finger over this here to make sure that it is clean. Once you're satisfied that it's all clean, I'm going to go ahead and spray this with a little bit of anti-seize compound. What we want to do is go ahead and compress our piston into the cup. So we're going to use our tool here to go ahead and do so. Then we're going to go ahead and apply some light pressure, squeezing that in. And what we're doing is we're pushing that fluid back up into the master cylinder. We want to get that piston to be almost flush inside that cup. And just about there. There it is. That's going to allow us to put our brake pads in. Go ahead and set that to the side again. And take our brake rotor and set that on. Now, when you get your brake rotor, chances are it's going to be in a plastic bag coated in oil. You want to go ahead and use a spray solvent, a brake spray solvent, to spray down not only the front, but the back side. Wipe it all down, make sure that it is free of any of those oils, and you're all set to install that. Let's go ahead and flip up the caliper bracket. We want to remove our shims here, or sliders. We now want to go ahead and remove our slide pins. We're going to grab the boot, grab the slide pin, and we're going to twist and pop that off. And if you notice here on this one, it has a rubber damper on it, so we want to pay attention to that. But we're also going to go ahead and mark the caliper bracket on what side that came out of. So I'm just going to use a crayon and mark that. That's my identifier. Now I want to go ahead and pinch these boots and pull them off. Now go ahead and take those boots, you want to roll them, and you want to look for dry rotting, splitting, cracking, anything like that. If these are split or worn, you need to replace them. The reason for that is that it's going to allow water and moisture and debris to get inside the slide pins, causing them to rust inside and bind. Now using some spray solvent, wearing safety glasses and gloves, go ahead and spray some solvent in there. Now if you apply too much pressure, it's going to shoot back out at you. That's why you want to wear safeties. And then we're going to use our bore brush to go ahead and clean out the bore. And flush it out. Use the bristle brush to clean off around where the rubber boot seals. And go ahead and repeat for the other side. Now that the ports for the slide pins are cleaned, go ahead and take your bristle brush, and we want to clean this here. Spray this down. And our goal here is to make sure that there's no rust built up on this here. You want the metal to be nice and smooth. If there's rust in there, you can use a flat file to go ahead and clean that. But it's imperative that that is flat. I'm going to show you why in just a second. I'm going to apply a thin coat of silicone paste here. And take your shim here. Need to make sure that that fits in there flush on both sides. Now if you have rust built up on there, it's going to cause your brake pads to bind, and they're not going to release or squeeze properly. So you need to make sure that that is smooth. Ours actually fit in there perfect. Let's go ahead and flip it over. We're going to do the same over here. Now before we install our boots, I'm going to give you a little tip here to go ahead and clean out the old grease and debris that's in there. You can use a flathead screwdriver, but you want to be careful with this here. You don't want to puncture the rubber. But what you're going to do is you're going to use the edge of the screwdriver to go ahead and clean the inside of the boot. Insert this here and press the boot up against it and just rotate it. and it's going to get a bunch of the old grease and junk out of there. After the boots are clean, you want to clean the slide pins. Inspect these here for rust buildup. If they're swollen, rusty, any damage like that, definitely replace those. Going to use the bristle brush to clean underneath the bolt head where the rubber boot is going to seal up against. If you have a wire wheel machine, you can go ahead and throw that right in there and clean this. If you just have a little bristle brush, that'll work just as good. Can do the same on this one here. Take some silicone paste, just a little bit, put it inside the port. Take the slide pin, and we want to put a thin coat of grease on here. Go ahead and grab the boot. I'm going to pop that on. Rotate that, make sure it's fully seated. Take your pin, I'm going to pull the boot back and slide that in, and then pop that on. Make sure that's seated. I'm going to repeat the same process for the other side. Good, line up our bracket here. I'm going to feed our bolt through on the bottom. Get that lower bolt started. Once you have that lower bolt started in a few threads, we're going to go ahead and grab that caliper and bring that down. And then push our bracket back up. Feed that through. Once that lines up, go ahead and get that bolt started. And once we have them both started, we'll go ahead and snug them down. Make sure that's good and tight. Put our caliper back up on top. Let's get to that lower bolt. We'll do the same down here. Tighten that down. Now we're going to install our brake pads. Now on this set here, the squeak tab is on the top. Pop that in. Do the same on the outer. Bring this down into position. Install your bolts. Let's torque down our caliper bracket to knuckle bolts to 39 foot-pounds. Go ahead and tighten down your caliper to bracket bolts to 20 foot-pounds. We're using a crow's foot on this here. Now that we're torqued here, you want to go ahead and repeat this process for the passenger side. Now before you drive off with the vehicle, pump up the brakes. The first 4 to 5 pumps may go to the floor. The pedal should firm up and then you can go for a road test. Go ahead and grab your wheel. Line that up on the studs. And ideally you want to go ahead and get all of these started by hand. And then we'll come on back and snug them down. Let's go ahead and gently snug these down. Going to do this in a crisscross or star pattern. You want to go ahead and torque down your lug nuts to 88 foot-pounds. Ideally, you want to do this in a crisscross or star pattern. And you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.